Welcome to the Sharing the Heart of the Matter podcast. Join us as we celebrate the brilliance of authors, storytellers, and creators. I'm Wynne, and in this episode, Vicki Atkinson and I are talking with author and blogger Ritish Sharma. Ritish and his co-author, Deepak Joshi, have put together an incredible collection of heartwarming stories in their book, Unfold the Stories of Unsung Heroes. Part 3 of this series was just released on March 29th of this year and has 10 profiles of incredible people making a difference in this world. The people in this volume hail from Uruguay, China, India, and Indiana, and beyond. So we asked Ritish how they find and vet these inspiring stories. He tells us of the spark that started them on this mission. Deepak and Ritish do an amazing job of telling these stories. They transport us across space and time so that we can feel the dedication and goodness of people doing great things for other people, not for the recognition, but because they care. We asked Ritish if he has a favorite from this incredible collection, which I think is a little like asking someone if they have a favorite child. But he was nice enough to give us an answer anyway. This is a fantastic episode featuring an interesting and inspired guest on a mission to celebrate unsung heroes. We know you'll love it. Good morning, Ritish.
Hi, good morning.
I guess it's evening for you.
So it's evening here, yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming on and talking to Vicki and I.
It's all mine.
We were laughing because this is, the first podcast I've done from a car. As it's a little odd, but the gas company came and kicked me out of my house while they're checking out a leak. So we're just rolling with it.
Absolutely. We figured it was one of the ways we were going to make your podcast extra special.
Exactly right.
It's special.
Yeah.
So you just released, and for anybody that's watching this on video, Cooper the dog is also participating in this podcast. So, we wanted to talk to you about your book, Untold Stories of Unsung Heroes, which we love. And it's your third book in the series. So can you tell us about what inspired the series and give us an elevator pitch for the book?
Yeah, sure. First of all, it's hard to believe that we are already on the third part of the book. And so it was actually Deepak's idea. Like in 2022, Deepak read this article in his local newspaper about this man who feeds the stray dogs in the town selflessly. So he came to me, Deepak, and said that we should be start telling these stories to our readers. I really liked that idea. I thought that, yeah, that's a very good thing to do, like to give them the light they deserve, give them the platform they deserve. So we started publishing stories online. We introduced this category on our blogging platform, Aspiring Blog, as you might have known. So we introduced this category called the Unsung Heroes, and we started publishing the stories there. We started collecting the names of the heroes that we know, and sometimes the people recommends us. So we started publishing there, and the response that we were getting after 4 or 5 months publishing those stories, it was just so incredible. It was just incredible. And sometimes even the NGOs that we have mentioned in those stories, they message us and email us to say thank you. And sometimes the heroes themselves, they said that thank you for writing those stories, writing about me and giving me this platform. So I had this idea that why not we take this to a much bigger platform? Like we should be sharing these stories to a large number of audience. So they should also have the right to feel the same inspiration that we were getting by just writing them.
Right.
So I proposed this idea to Deepak that we should start a book series called The Unfold the Stories of the Unsung Heroes. And that's when the series began. And we had our first book published back in, I think, in 2022.
Wow.
This was the whole idea behind the book.
That is wonderful. It's such a great book. And these stories, you have people from all over the world. How do you find,
Yeah,
I think you mentioned this a little bit, but can you tell us more about how you find these?
oh yeah, absolutely. So like it's something that we are proud of, that our heroes are global. Like we are not
Yes.
just limited to a region, and that's the best part about it. That when we find heroes, that's half the joy for us. So we have a mix of methods of finding those heroes. First of all, our beloved readers who always suggest and recommend us that, hey, we know this guy, he is doing a wonderful job in our community, and you should know more about them. And then second, we have a form open on our website that people can come and just share more about the heroes they want us to find and write stories about them. And then we have our social media. And even Deepak and I do some intensive research, continuous scrolling over the internet and social media and finding those heroes all around us.
Right.
And that's a fun thing to do, but sometimes it takes a lot of time, lot of research to just know that these are the people that we should be writing about. Like they are very genuine and deserve the recognition. So
So
that,
there have been times where you've gone through a particular research
yeah.
and determined that somebody should be have a longer story in your book
Yeah,
and
yes. So whenever we find a hero, our motive is not just to copy paste the content we
yeah.
find it on. So what we do is we contact the NGOs they work with. We go to the local newspaper where their story might have published before. So our aim is to find every bit tiny details that to understand them basically.
Yeah.
Like to answer those questions that who they are and what makes them,
Yeah.
and what drives them to take such steps. So we try to collect all those little details, and then we just curate them. And I think the point of these stories is like it's not written like a biographies or news report or an article. We try to feel the emotions that whenever someone's reading those stories, they should feel they are basically learning about those people, but they are also feels that what those people might have felt while living their life, like when doing such grateful things, such wonderful things.
Right.
So that's the
And
whole point of
you
it.
make the story so personal and readable. I mean, they just really are lovely stories. And your research really shows because, you just have such great details.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's always our aim, to just grab every single details and then create a very, very meaningful, emotionful stories behind them, and to just grab all the emotions that they might have felt while living that moment. We always try to do that. That's, I
But
think, the power of storytelling.
I was just going to say that. I think it's the power of wholehearted storytelling, because what you and Wynne were just talking about, we can go to lots of sources that might on the surface say they're going to provide inspiration, but you do such a beautiful job of bringing the factual forward. And Wynne and I were talking, there has to be so much vetting that goes on because you want to be accurate. And so much of it has, important cultural, aspects and historical. So we can see all of that time and care and attention that goes into telling the story right. But like Wynne said, then you layer the love and the importance and the reminder that we are one global community.
Yes.
We really are.
Yeah,
And
we really
I
are.
get
Yes.
chills when I say that, because for us, that's sort of the higher order importance of what you two are doing, that the world really is a very small place and love really is everywhere if we open our eyes to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that we
Yeah.
can make a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always says that even a small act of kindness and just love, even quietly and without applause, can create a ripple effect beyond
Yeah.
our imagination.
Yeah.
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 My
That's
God. Well, and I don't know how often readers tell you that they cry while they're reading, but I mean, there were moments in reading the third book where, I don't want to say too much, but a couple of the stories, even if I was aware of them,
Mhm.
kind of at a surface level, I mean, I was just flooded with tears, overwhelmed by
Yes.
the power, of an individual person reaching out.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right.
there's so many stories like this,
Yeah.
like that deserve to be told.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you
Yes.
have a favorite one from this book 3?
Actually, that's a tough question because every story is very inspirational on its own. But
Yeah.
since you asked, I would say that yes, I do have. Can I say a story from my
Yes.
part one book?
Sure.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so there was this story of a little girl. Her name was Claire Wineland, and I don't usually get emotional while reading or writing things, but
Mhm.
her story while researching about her and her life that really hits me. Like
Mhm.
I have to take a pause and just take in all it. Like it was so heartwarming. The way she explained life with so much grace and humor is just so inspirational.
Yeah. I'd have to say
Yeah.
that one of the things that really resonates with me is the stories of kids. And so, like in this book, I'm not sure if I'm saying the name right, but Babar Ali,
Yeah, it's
who,
Babar Ali. Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
who went to school and then thought
yes, yes,
there's these other kids that aren't getting the same education. I mean, and that's
Yeah.
so powerful.
Yeah.
And just
exactly.
kids
Powerful story
changing
that
the
is.
world. I mean, it's amazing.
Exactly, it's such a powerful
Yeah.
story that is.
Yeah. Yeah,
And the
because
good part about that story that the students that he teached are now in very good positions. Like some are
yeah,
lawyers and some are teachers doing wonderful
yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's like
heartwarming
kids
story.
don't know the limitations of what really is possible, and
Exactly.
they really defy expectations. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I think
Yeah.
that's what we love about when you described kind of the nomination and the submission process, that it really is very all-encompassing, that you and Deepak will receive, and you kind of some things you may be aware of, some not. But I think the common thread that's just so endearing is that, to a person, at least in what I've read in the third book, these are unsung heroes. These are
Mhm.
not people that were looking for fame or fortune or
Right.
acclaim. And the one that really spoke to me, I think because of my background as a therapist, was, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, Chen Si, who just over and over again made it his life's mission to be on the Yangtze River and, kind of look soulfully,
Mhm.
at people in pain, give them options,
Yeah.
feed them, give them a safe place to
Yeah.
stay. And I think he embodies that example of, someone who didn't want attention. There's
Right.
work to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just so beautiful because, and then some of the stories are about people that we know. And the one that jumped out at me was Diane Fossey. I've read
Mhm.
about her plenty of times, but never like this.
Mhm. So true.
Just so good.
Yeah, there's
So
so
good.
much details. There's
Yeah.
Yeah.
so much story behind
Yeah.
her life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Powerful.
well, I think you and Deepak are unsung heroes too for writing these books, for
Thank you so much.
celebrating people that make a difference. I mean, that celebrating people making a difference makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that is always our aim
Yeah.
to just keep giving them the platform and share these inspirational stories to every one of you. Like the I think the feedback we received about these books are just so
Mhm.
incredible. We are just so
Yeah.
grateful to every one of you who are joining the cause and like
Yeah.
supporting us this way and showing their love and gratitude. Like it's
Yeah.
just so I can't even say that. Like it's just so incredible. Like we never even imagined that we are doing this. We are part of something that is even making a tiny difference in the world.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
I think
Well,
there's a hunger for it. There's an appetite, and without being overly political with what's happening, in the United States right now, I'll speak for myself and say, that there is a need to find
mhm.
the light, to
Mhm.
find the good, and you two are providing that, and a reminder that good does win.
And I think it's not
Yeah,
just the United States, it's like happening all over the world, and the world
yeah,
needs to know the good side of human.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah. Oh, we are
Oh.
so grateful for you, for the work that you do, for this beautiful book that we can't recommend. We can't recommend it enough. And for this coming on the podcast to talk to us about it. We're just so grateful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Maya and Vicky. I don't know, I could have asked for a better first podcast experience. And to everyone listening this, thank you so much for letting me share these stories with you. And I also want to say that if you know any unsung heroes in your family, in your community, or in your neighbor, do let us know about them. We'll be
Okay.
really happy to know.
Yes. Well, Cooper the dog would like to have a nomination. He rings the bell for the cat every time the cat's outside and wants to come in.
That could be a whole different
Yeah.
category,
Yeah.
unsung heroes of pets.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's Cooper's
We
nomination.
can introduce that category too.
Thank you, Ritish. We so appreciate you.
All
Thank you
the
so much.
best.
Thank you
All the
so much.
best. Thank you for listening. Our music is composed for Sharing the Heart of the Matter by the exquisitely talented duo of Jack Canfora and Rob Koenig. For show notes and more great inspiration, please visit our site at sharingtheheartofthematter.com.